Imagine working a boring 9 to 5 desk job until you're 40 years old, and then suddenly becoming the mastermind behind Cristiano Ronaldo and Eden Hazard. This is the insane true story of Maurizio Sarri, the bank teller who conquered European football. Sarri was a high-flying international currency trader for Banca Monte dei Paschi di Siena. He worked across Europe handling millions, but by night, he became a mad scientist in the eighth tier of Italian football. In 2000, at 41 years old, he snapped. He told his family, "I've decided I'm quitting the banking to focus entirely on football." Everyone thought he was completely out of his mind. He spent years grinding in the brutal lower divisions, a league he later said grinds you down and spits you out. But his tactical genius was undeniable. His signature lightning-fast style called Sarri ball took the world by storm. Within 2 decades of leaving his desk job, he went from non-league mud to lifting major European trophies. When critics mocked him for never playing the sport, Sarri shrugged it off. "I come from a family of laborers. If I hear someone talking about sacrifices in football, I get mad. I would do this job for free." There is a misconception about coaching. Beginner coaches always think they need so much to start coaching, but all they need is the passion to do it. I'm going to help you design your first practice for your team. An easy way for a beginner coach to get started is by 3 simple steps. And today I'm going to teach you how to set up your first practice for your new team. Now, there's 3 big mistakes that coaches can make when designing their first practice session or a practice session in general. So the first mistake is by not having a solid plan. Now, I understand a lot of us are working people that, they work a 9 to 5 job and they don't have time to create this elaborate plan that's going to, keep every kid entertained. And I'm going to teach you how to create a solid plan. The second mistake is by not making it enjoyable. Too many times I see coaches very simply, but they'll have all the kids lined up in a line, passing it to the coach passes it back, and then they'll shoot. And for the 9, 10, 11, 12 other kids that are waiting in line, they're not doing anything. They're having little conversations on the side. They're looking at the butterfly. They're distracted and they're not interested in what we're doing. I'm going to give you some principles to abide by so that all the kids are enjoying your session. And the third mistake is just talking too much and not letting the kids play. Why do you think the kids signed up for soccer, or why do you think they are coming in the first place? They want to play. And if we talk too much, we're preventing them from doing the very thing that they're here to do. I'm going to give us 3 steps to improve our coaching and to fix these simple problems. So step 1 is to come prepared. The worst thing that you can do is to come to a practice session ill-prepared and not knowing what to do. For your first practice, the first thing that you want to do is to introduce some icebreakers. It'll take 5, 6, 7 minutes to introduce everyone, depending on how many players you have. Ask everyone what their name is, go by one. Start with yourself and then move over what their name is and their favorite color, favorite soccer team, favorite food, something creative and fun like that, to allow them to be a little bit more vulnerable and to help break out of their kind of the shell that they'll have. Then we want to plan some sort of a warm-up activity. In my last video where we talked about kind of pre-practice planning, tag games. Tag games are your go-to. That is what you'll do at the beginning and the end of every single session. That way, kids will know what will happen at the beginning and what will happen at the end. So we want to make sure that we start and end the same to kind of like bookmark the start and the end of everything. So for our kids, it's icebreaker for the first one, but every practice going forward, we want to have tag games, get them moving, get the blood flowing, get them running around. This is their warm-up. We don't need elaborate, butt kicks, high knees, arm swings, calf stretches, or anything like that. Tag games. Get them running around, get them excited to be here, and change it up every time. Ask the kids what tag games they have. I've seen some pretty crazy tag games that kids have come and asked me to do. They love it. They love it. They love it. So that's where I'd start. Then move on to something with the ball right away, right after that. If you're lucky enough to have a ball per player, if you don't, ask them. Parents will buy them a $5 ball from Walmart so they can, feel engaged and whatnot, and just get them exploring a bunch of different ways to maneuver the ball. So you could have them dribbling with both feet, all parts of their foot, the bottom of it, the outside of it, the inside of it, the back of it, the toes a little bit. Get them running around with it. Maybe have them crawling with the ball, like a bear crawl. Have them crab walk. Have them bounce it like a basketball. At the same time of us being soccer coaches, we're building their physical literacy at a young age. And the more that we can do that at these ages, the more confident that they'll be in any sport going forward. Once you've done a couple little activities, a couple little games, right after that, we want to get them into a game. We want them playing the game almost as long as possible. If you have an hour session, I would say 20 minutes minimum playing the game. I would even say 25. And so we want to make sure that the kids are playing it because that's why they're there. Never forget that the players are here to play soccer. And so we want to introduce that as quickly as possible to them. And step number 2, remember, we are not here to create all-star soccer players. We are here to give them a positive impact in their first beginnings of the sport. The majority of players will be beginners. You'll probably have a kid or two that's played with their dad or cousins or siblings. So they'll get everything a little bit more, and we can create little separate challenges for them. But we want to understand that first timers are going to be the majority of our players. And that's fine. That's what it's supposed to be. So we want to make sure that everything's enjoyable and fun, and that even if, I go back to my last video, no tears. We want to make sure that kids have a positive impact or have a positive experience with this sport. That's what's going to keep them coming back practice after practice. As a coach, you're in charge of making sure that they have a positive impact and, that they explore the sport. So we want to make sure that every single part of it is as fun as possible. It's not going to be perfect every time. I'm not expecting you to do that. However, I think I can expect us to make it fun and enjoyable. Step 3, let the kids play. Now, don't talk too much. I have an experience of when I was, 11, 12 years old with one of my coaches, probably my favorite coach ever, actually. It was my birthday. We had soccer practice that night, but after the session was finished, I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get my stuff on. I'm going to get ready to go. I'm going to go home, open presents, have cake, do all these things with my family. I'm so buzzing for this. But my coach decided that he needed to have a 25-minute post-practice debrief, and I remember nothing. So everyone was ready to go, but he decided he just kept talking for 20, 25 minutes. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting there dying inside because all my presents are at home that I want to open up for my 12th birthday. I couldn't care any less what my favorite coach ever had to say at the time. And so for us as a coach, we need to understand that players have a very finite, a really little bit that they can focus for. And so for me, when I coach under 9s, I make sure that I don't talk for a maximum 1 minute. Even if I'm explaining a drill that might be a little bit complicated, if it takes me more than a minute to explain, then that means I need to change my plans. If I'm going in and trying to correct a player, just one player, it's 15 seconds. If I go to try correct a group of players, it's no more than 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, then their attention starts to waver a little bit, and then you lose them. And then they're not taking in any information, and whatever you're saying is a waste of air. So make sure you keep it nice and short and neat and tidy, and then you move on and let the players explore and let them experiment, have fun, play, let them do their thing. Don't expect yourself to be perfect. Our story from the beginning of the video, he wasn't coaching, young players and whatnot, so he could, go into depth about tactics and everything like that. For us, in the youth game, it's about short, sweet little packages of information that we go boom, and then we let them try it. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine. Maybe the kids in the next session will be able to understand it. If you're a talkaholic, time yourself. Every single time you stop the practice, time yourself and keep yourself limited. And you'll see over time the players will start to get it, and then you'll realize, oh hey, I actually don't really need to coach that much. I can just kind of let the game or the activity do it itself. So remember, you need to come prepared, you need to make it fun, and you need to let the players play, and you need to stop talking for a long time. My challenge for you this week, for your first practice, for your second practice, or if this is your millionth practice, is to time yourself to see how long you go for talking. Once you've done that, come back to this video and let me know how you did. Let me know what worked and what didn't work. I'm more than happy to, have that conversation and see, if we can, learn some things together, you and me. But that's all for today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.